No. As a matter of fact, several of the members and co-hosts on this show are gay. The ACA supports equal rights. We're at the Pride Festival every year. I couldn't possibly hold the view that they're bad. Well, why on earth?
I guess I should point out, though, that that's not necessarily an atheist view.
It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with atheism, because it's not an ism.
My church definitely doesn't really think that that's, you know, appropriate, being gay or lesbian or whatever.
Yeah, you're still fading in and out. Am I understanding you correct? You're saying that your church thinks that it's inappropriate to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and so by what standard do they claim that they're correct?
Because God made people to make children.
Sure. They've got a bald assertion that people were created a certain way. Do you agree with them that there's something wrong with homosexuality?
Well, I don't like hanging out with them personally, but I mean, I don't.
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't like hanging out with you either.
I don't think so. I hope not, because you know they're not going to get anything out of it. But
here's an idea. Because you're fading out, I'm going to move on to somebody else, and what I'm going to say is probably going to be viewed as mildly insulting to you, and so I'll apologize in advance. Instead of saying the church you go to believes that atheism that homosexuality is a bad thing, why don't you think for yourself? Why don't, instead of accepting whatever dogma there is or feeling uncomfortable about it, why don't you actually sit down and say, is this ethically or morally right or wrong? What do I think about it, and why? What's the real justification? And if the only justification you can come up with is because the Bible says so, or God says so, or somebody told you a God said it, unless you actually get it from God directly, then I think you're relying on really bad reasons for this. Personally, I spent 20, 25 years as a fundamentalist Christian studying to be a preacher. I had to reevaluate all of my positions. This was the single most important thing I ever did, and not enough people ever bothered to do it. We believe whatever we're taught as kids, or whatever religion we adopt.
But if everybody was gay, then this world would end in the next 50 years.
Really? Why?
There wouldn't be a human species. How would you be able to keep making babies? Artificial insemination?
Well, first of all, the argument carries no weight. I'll freely admit that you need to have, well, actually you don't need to have sex anymore to procreate. I know plenty of gay couples who have had kids. You could still have kids even without the sex or with sex. I mean, it's not like, you couldn't actually do it. But that's not the issue anyway. I mean, even if, let's say that everybody was gay beginning with this entire next generation, that still doesn't address whether or not it's ethically wrong. If that's what, I mean, we're talking about people's nature.
Man.
How is somebody's nature ethically or morally wrong?
It's gross.
That's like saying that they're wrong to be bald or brunette.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being bald or brunette, man.
There you go, and there's nothing wrong with being gay. I got to let you go. We got other callers, but thanks for calling in, Gerald. Do yourself a favor. Actually, it's tough. Most people don't do it.
Well, the thing is, it's like, what if the entire next generation was women? Does that make it wrong to be a woman? We wouldn't have kids after a while, but I mean, it's not immoral to be female just because if everyone was female, we couldn't procreate.
Wow, I mean, it's silly. What if, I don't know, what if the entire next generation is born sterile? Does that make them immoral?
Well, that's the other question. Should sterile people be allowed to marry? If the only reason to...
Yeah, well, he didn't get into gay marriage, so I didn't want to beat up on the gay marriage issue there. That one gets bandied about enough.
People past childbearing years,
yes.
Or I mean,
or somebody who just chooses not to procreate, as I know a lot of people do. But seriously, I'm in all seriousness, Gerald, I'm not just picking on you. This message goes out to everybody, atheist or theist. I don't really care. Most people don't bother to take the time to figure out what they actually believe about different issues, and why.
I can't tell you how many times when I was younger and had discussions with peers that were religious, I would hear the phrase, "We believe that. We believe that." Yeah. And it would be like a blanket assertion, like everyone at my church believes this, as if it was just a group thing.
It's a hive mind.
Yeah, it was. That's not how it works.
Well, my
if you
preacher
believe it-
told me-
If you believe it, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Say, I believe this.
My preacher told me that Jesus is more historically verifiable than Julius Caesar. Okay. I got a bridge I'll sell you.